Hello, we are the Kemet team.
هنا ازاي عملنا قصة صعود الفراعنة. Our vision is an ambitious look inspired by blockbuster dynamics. Our story is set in a temple undergoing a reality shift, bringing the hero into the Duat, a spiritual space where he will be judged by the gods. To contrast the real world from the spiritual universe, we decided to focus on their mood, taking references from works such as National Treasure and Moon Knight. The Duat became distinct with cool tones and magical lighting, while the real world stayed warm and naturally lit.
The Douat is immense, so we needed a wide space to shoot. We brought 1 ton of sand to the studios and set it up outside to recreate the spiritual world's ground. The weather conditions kept changing throughout the day. We were met with rain and sun, each taking turns between the takes. We then built a setup to maintain a consistent, diffuse lighting and to keep control of the brightness of the set while limiting outside influences.
On set, we mainly put our focus on having the hair on the green screen at all times. It was necessary to avoid any roto work and lose time since his hair was curly and messy.
To mimic the temple's atmosphere, we shot in La Maison des Cœurs, a former church in Montpellier. On set, we had to block the light source from an elevated stained glass. So, we created a structure to block it, and it worked really well.
We wanted our Egyptian hero to appear both impactful and historically inspired. We decided to adjust his clothing for his job. While facing the god's test, he had to look as natural and rough as possible, wearing no jewelry or makeup, with only a small piece of fabric on.
To make the contact with the actor work in CGI, we did photogrammetry on the props and on the body parts of the actor where FX simulations were planned. We also captured different priests in multiple positions to add them at the crowd, emphasizing their number and adding life inside the temple.
Our temple was based on references of Egyptian ruins. It needed an overly majestic feel, so its destructed version in the Duat would deeply impact the hero and the audience.
Each asset had to be broken and scattered while retaining familiar elements. The textures were damaged directly in the shading network during the look-dev process.
We made an HDA of the temple scene, regrouping all meshes and textures, which we used to create the lighting in every interior shot, and for the FX. In order to optimize render time, we used camera mapping on most of the interior shots.
The whole sequence in the spiritual universe is packed with FX. The 3 main ones were the sandstorm, the reconstruction, and the scepter.
The sound wall constantly appears in the shots, as an enclosure of the environment.
So we created 7 different shapes that could be used for the set dressing. To optimize time and data storage, we created multiple layers per simulation, making it faster to cache and flexible to render.
The destruction stage was made from the reconstruction setup. We created a tool in Houdini to fracture each temple asset, scatter the pieces on the ground, and reconstruct them with adjustable curves. The smaller pieces had to move faster, but also reach the end after the bigger ones. So we had an offset to compensate. As the hero rebuilds the temple multiple times, the spiritual world's environment has 2 different layouts, with 2 steps of destruction for each asset, matching every stage of the story.
The magical effects on the scepter were inspired by Disney's Prince of Persia. We replaced the scepter using a geotrack to achieve a credible mystical look. We inserted a living flame simulation within the clear object and a particle trait simulation interacting with its movement.
In compositing, one of our challenges was to integrate the new magical scepter into the hand of the actor. To do this, we gave the actor a standing prop that will represent the CG element during shooting. We then used it as a reference to track its movement in 3D equalizer to match with the actor. Then merged the CG with the FX to enhance its supernatural effect and presence.
We hope you enjoyed watching our making of.
شكرا للمشاهدة.
C'est marrant,